and welcome to Between Two Coaches. We're on a mission to make fitness more human, snark sold separately. I'm Coach Amanda this week, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host,
Coach Nick. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We have a great episode. We're going to continue along with our fun episode last week where we went through some Reddit threads, and we went through all these funny type situations or scenarios around fitness, and we're going to read them and have some more feedback. We thought it was a lot of fun, and Amanda had a long list that was too much for one episode, so we're going to make it two. So we're going to do that. We're going to have some banter, and we're going to have a lot of fun here today. But first, Amanda, how are you doing on this fine, wonderful Tuesday?
Fine and wonderful. I am admittedly a little strapped and stressed.
Oh,
It is a very time to, I don't think the word is not popular. So for the record, it is 6:39 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesday. My brain has been going for 12 plus hours. So forgive me, words are hard again. It's a very hectic time, chaotic time for those of us who are in a couple of camps. If you're a run coach, it's race season, it's fall racing season. The New York City Marathon is this weekend. I also happen to be, in case you missed it, a New Yorker. So all of this brings my energy higher when energy is one of my precious resources, my most precious. So I'm feeling a little anxious, but nevertheless, I'm doing okay. Mind you, I could be doing differently when this episode airs, because this episode is in the past and you're listening to this in the future.
that's wild. Is that like Back to the Future?
It is like Back to the Future. So when this episode comes out, several things will be different. We will have, and here in America, we will have a new president. We will have a New York City Marathon, and one of us will be on vacation.
Yeah, I'm very excited to not go on vacation because the other person is.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
me, everyone. That would be
Yeah.
me. How are you doing, Coach Nick?
Good. It is fall marathon season, so as like you said, as run coaches, there's a lot of races. Chicago and Berlin behind us, but November is a very busy month for people. Especially, I don't know. I feel like it's maybe East Coast more. Richmond, Philly, New York City, or like Indy. They're all sort of like big races. I don't know if they're New York City. Obviously, is traveled from everywhere. I don't know if Richmond, Philly get that much from everywhere. I think Philly does. But, I know on the East Coast, there are definitely races everyone looks at because, depending where you live, if you're in our area, the Northeast, Mid Atlantic, all those races are very easily to get to, except for Indy. But yeah, I'm excited for my marathon, which will be coming up this weekend when this episode airs. But now I still have 10 days, so 11 days. So it's excited. It's going to be fun. Haven't run a marathon since last year. My longest run was a couple weeks ago. So just excited. I think it's going to be a good springboard into getting back into the swing of things. So yeah, excited for that. And then just, my adventures ahead and, joining up with Running Explained and part of the team and all that fun stuff. So yeah, really excited. Yeah, just excited to be here podcasting with you.
Well. You also reminded me I should note that while you don't have to listen to last week's episode, the one that aired on Halloween, October 31st, you are encouraged to do so to learn a little bit why we are sharing some. We're taking part in this little Reddit Threads series, and also to hear Coach Nick's announcement of joining the Running Explained team as head coach. So
Oh yeah.
you can pause this and circle back at your leisure.
Yes.
Get into it, friends.
Let's rock and roll.
Let's get into it. All right. So OP posted, gym members and clients keep commenting on my stomach.
Oh.
I don't have abs and have a small gut, and telling me, quote, how to get rid of it. So the OP is a fitness professional. The fitness professional whose body is quote being commented on their stomach. A thing I think I have noticed after working here for 2 months is a lot of people comment on my physique unprovoked. I've had several women and men even walk up to me and ask if I do core workouts, even tell me ways to lose my stomach fat. I've been told to buy a waist trainer more than once, lol. It gets to me sometimes because I do work my core and I'm trying my best to get my body fat down, but it's not easy and I know that. I try to reply that I'm aware that my stomach could be flatter and look more lean, but I tell them the ways I do work my core and that slow and steady wins the race. Anyone else go through this? I know as a personal trainer in a big box gym, everyone is looking at you to see how to train people, how you train yourself, how you act, how you talk to people, and especially how fit you look. I love my body and think I look great. And couldn't even see oh, I'm sorry, I skipped a line, guys. Okay, again, it's your girl's eyes are tired. But I obviously don't have a bodybuilder physique and I really don't know when I'll get one. I gotta tweak my diet more for sure. I also have 2 kids, but I say this sometimes and people look at me, quote, so what? You're the PT. Why no abs? A funny and kind of sad thing I wanted to share.
That sounds terrible. Amanda, as a fitness professional trainer, why don't you share your thoughts first?
I'm so sorry that you have to deal with this. And this comes down to fitness does not have a look, friends. There, you can be incredibly strong and not have a quote unquote bodybuilder physique. So many things in here I can pick apart. For starters, if you're listening to this and you think a waist trainer is a way to quote tone your midsection, not only is that not correct, but you could be damaging your organs long term and it wreaks havoc on your pelvic floor health. Ask any pelvic floor therapist. So we'll hire you because of your skill set, because of your talent, because of your experience, because you make them feel safe and you're supporting them in their strength journey, their fitness journey, and it should not have to do with your physique and your body. And I hope that OP knows that, and anyone who's in the fitness industry who does not quote unquote look the part understands that. I think that even if you're not a fitness trainer, if you're a run coach, imagine being judged by your finishing times. A really shitty thing to do and tells a lot about a person's lack of understanding when it comes to the modality that they are looking to strengthen.
Yeah, and that happens all the time too. It's annoying because it doesn't mean anything just because, and then both come down to a lot of things that you didn't mention it, but genetics, right, are a big part of like having some people are genetically predisposed to be able to get a six pack easier than others, or run races faster than others, or many other things, right? And so like so someone's a good fitness trainer or coach because they have genetics? Like that doesn't make any sense. Like what does that help? How does that help you as an athlete feel supported and cared for and loved because someone, has or even what did they do in their own time? Like if they work really hard and like craft their body or craft their fitness because they want to doesn't make them a better trainer or running coach. It just means in their own journey, they're motivated and or they're interested in doing those things, but they can still go out here and coach you to be your best or take care of you, or like in classes make it fun and exciting and make sure you want to show up each week and do work, because those are the fun things that are happening too. And like that has nothing to do with a look or a finishing time. So it's, you know, sad that this is how this happens. And like no one should ever comment on someone else's body. I think oftentimes people usually say things like, "Oh, you look so fit." Like again, what does that mean? Like, you know, I know, and I think people are doing it. Some are doing it to be like, "Oh, it's like a compliment." Like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, wow, you look fit." Like you can, and maybe they mean like, "Oh, your training results are like showing fitness." That you could say that obviously instead of saying you look fit. So like, just again, when you say things like, "Oh, you look fit," you're just attributing looks to like someone's level of fitness, and don't do that, right? There's no reason to. No, it's not a compliment for most people. It comes off as, "Why are you
It's
talking
rude.
about my physique?" Yeah.
Rude. There are so many things. Again, like the other area of this is the obvious for me. You can't you can't spot reduce fat. That's another thing that like it just shows a lack of understanding from the person who's commenting. Um, and it's rude, and it does not, somebody's fast finishing time, somebody's six pack is not a credential, not a qualification to be a fitness professional. So full stop. OP, I would fire those clients if I were you.
Yep. What about
If
those?
after educating them they were still like, I don't get it. Oh, you don't get it? I don't need your business. So that's for starters. What were you gonna say?
No, I says you can get one of those electric stim vibrating belts you wear that like give you abs, right? That was the thing
Oh
in
my
college that
gosh.
like was always around, and a lot of kids in school would wear them all the time, and I'm like, no, 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 no.
People have lost their damn minds. But these things come
Well,
back in,
oh yeah, they'll be back.
it's horrible. It's so scary out
Hmm.
here. All right. That one I should have done on the Halloween episode because that one was really scary.
That was scary.
Very scary. All right, let's move on to another one. Reconcile race deferment. Sad face.
Hmm.
Caught post tib tendonitis after my last long run. After 2 rounds of cortisone injections and a ton of PT, the pain is just too high to even think about running the race. So I've had to make the decision to defer to next year. I was looking forward to this so much, and now I'm absolutely gutted to not be able to run. Those who've had to defer races, how did you cope with the disappointment?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Um, you know, a lot of factors, right? Like, you know, whether it's a good training block or didn't go well, like it still stinks to miss your goal race. I think a lot of people would feel more hurt, more gutted if they had like their training go perfectly and then during the taper, you know, an injury popped up and they can't run their goal race and they're trying to get there the best way they can. You know, I think things to think about are, you know, first, don't lose perspective of your training block. Let's just assume, I don't know. She said, did they say 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, sometime close to the race? It sounded like I heard, but wherever it was, significant amount of training sounded like it was done.
Yeah.
So don't lose sight of all the work you did that, you know, showed what you're capable of,
Mm-hmm.
and that will obviously carry forward into another training block after you come back from an injury. I think a lot of people feel like, oh, well, I was this fit and then I got hurt and I'll lose it all, start from square one or square zero and build back up again. It's going to take forever. It's not how fitness works. Like, will there be some growing pains in the beginning? Sure, it will be a period where you have to work back, and what felt easy before will feel hard. That's the same thing that's going to happen after you run a race, where when you come back, it feels hard. What once felt easy, but with a little bit of consistency, next thing you know, you're sort of back to a level where you were. And that's what we call our base. And then when you get to that, then we can start building for the future race. So when it comes to the race itself, there's a lot of things you can do depending what race it is. Let's use New York City, for example. Depending on your life and things, you can always go to the race still. It's I have been to races that I've missed, and I have poured my energy into spectating because I've had friends or others there, and that brings me joy. Even though I've missed the race that I wanted to do, I still made a fun weekend out of it. If I had friends or things set up, then I'm still going to do those. Only I don't have to run a race now. So if that's an option, do that. If not, do something with that time that you were going to do a race and carve something in your life that's fun. If you have some running friends who are local, do something with them that's not running. Like maybe on race day, go with your friends and go to a coffee shop or do something that like brings you joy in running that you can't do now, that you wouldn't have done if you ran the race, but you can do now, right? So find little ways to, you know, still make the most out of the opportunity, whether it's go there or do something local. And you know, just know that that fitness will come back and you'll be able to run it next year, and that it's the race isn't lost forever if you can defer it, because there are some races where you can't defer, and that stinks.
Take care of your heart, OP. So you made the hard choice and the right choice for you. And I find, have you ever deferred a race personally, Nick?
Yeah, I have had races where I signed up for and I didn't do. I didn't always go to them, but
Me
I've
too.
deferred. Yeah, I've deferred. Some of them I have, but I've missed. I had races on my calendar I didn't do. Yeah,
Yep. Yep. Me
I
too.
wouldn't defer. I didn't always defer. Some of them I just didn't defer at all. Like I just wasn't going to do next year either. Maybe it was like on the West Coast and I didn't want to go
Same.
the following year and like keep that. I may have deferred it, but with like anyway. But
Yeah.
yes, I understand.
Yes, yes, yes. So I think that there's a huge opportunity for folks to that the injury is not a setback. It's a setup for you becoming a better, stronger, more mentally tough athlete. And it is so important for us to have moments like that. They may not be the moment that we want, but it is definitely the one that most of us need. If you're not facing these moments, these quote unquote failures, I won't even call it that. Are you ever really learning? Are you ever really growing? Are you ever really evolving as a human and as a runner? You're not. You're not, because if everything is always going hunky dory, growing hunky dory.
No.
So
Yeah, adversity is part of the journey. I mean, I think everyone needs to also realize injuries come for everyone.
mhm.
You cannot avoid the injury bug. You cannot, if you're ever chasing your potential, there is a risk you get hurt. And every year you don't get hurt, there's a greater risk that you do get hurt. So, you know, have understanding that injuries can happen and it does stink, but what can you grow from this moment? I always like to think that things happen for a reason. I don't always understand them in the moment. Sometimes it takes a while to understand them, but they are there.
Mhm.
And there's something to be learned. And then just control your narrative in life, right? You can control the things you can control, right? How you react, how you come back from this injury, how you handle the race itself. Like you have control in those things. Sometimes we feel like control's ripped from us with injuries or a lot of things in life. Like when they happen, we feel like we have no control. Well, you can control your attitude, you can control your mindset around it, and you can turn a bummed opportunity like this into something that's still joyful in your life and find a way. So just find that way to bring that joy in a different way for that race.
I think that for some people, the option to go to the race to spectate is a good option. I think for others, it is not. If it
Yeah.
is accessible for you to go on a little trip, go on a little getaway that weekend, do that. Um, or like Coach Nick said, go to coffee with friends, maybe that who aren't runners. Do we have friends who aren't runners? Or friends who are not running that race that weekend? That's a great idea. And at the end of the day, you are now investing, as you did in your race, you are now investing in your recovery. And now that is your quote unquote sport, is getting back to what you love. So, to the next one, on to the next one. All right. He says, is this typical? I have a personal trainer who is so kind. We are both the same age and into very similar things, so sessions tend to flow very well, and we've grown great rapport. The only thing I find is that we only speak during sessions. They never text to check in throughout the week on goal, progress, or anything. Whenever I meet a new goal, i.e., running a mile, exceeding the goal on the Stairmaster, etc., that I wanted to share with him because I'm feeling proud of the progress I've made working with him, I'm so hesitant. I tend to think he's probably doesn't want you to blow up his phone with this kind of stuff. I've had other people tell me that their trainers would frequently check in and give tips outside of their training sessions. Just want to ensure I'm not overthinking this. I just want to get the most out of this experience. This one's interesting.
It is interesting. It feels like there's a missing piece of the equation, which is what are the boundaries or rules established for communication between said athlete and said trainer? Because if it is, hey, communication is wanted and appreciated and should be done, and it's not being reciprocated, there's a problem. Or if it's, hey, we will be personal trainer and athlete here, and we're not. I'm not looking for more trainer from the trainer's perspective. I'm not looking for more friends or to blow up my phone all week, and I will take care of you in the session, and I will root for you, and I will be excited about your goals. Come bring them to the next session, and that's the rules. Then I don't see the trainer doing anything wrong. If it is, oh well, you're supposed to check in all the time and give new goals and be excited. I think that's I think some people have boundaries, and you should be okay with honoring them.
Yep.
The athlete, the OP, should honor the boundaries set up, and they are usually it's on the trainer to tell what the boundaries are. So hopefully that was done. It does sound like in the beginning, it sounded like the OP was like, "Oh, I'm getting along with this person. They're very kind. Maybe we can be friends." It was what I was hearing, and then like not understanding why they weren't getting reciprocated post course.
Mm-hmm.
So I think don't assume your personal trainer like isn't rooting for you or isn't excited about you because they don't talk to you outside of session. If they're jerks to you during session, then you have a problem, right? But like if they're being kind to you during the time they're supposed to be there for you, then that is the relationship, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like everyone has their time they need, and they need to stress from their time. Maybe the personal trainer is like Amanda has like 7 classes a day or whatever, and just is exhausted by the end of the day and just wants to relax and not text back people, even though she loves them and wants to.
Well, you have to set. You hit it earlier. There are expectations that I set with. So there's 2 camps of people, right? So this person is talking about their personal trainer. So generally, the way that it works is you're paying a personal trainer for time, a specific amount of time. Generally, unless it's like a total package where there's communication outside, the expectation should not be that that personal trainer is somebody I communicate. That's a friend, right? Like that you're sharing things outside of maybe the training sessions. Of course, questions and whatever, everyone's relationship is going to be a little bit different with their trainer. But that's exactly right. These are things that should be established with your relationship with your trainer. And even if you don't have a personal trainer, maybe you have a run coach, those same expectations should be established. The boundaries, what days are okay to communicate with them, and when you should expect a response, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's on the trainer, coach, whoever to let people know the boundaries. And if they change, then it's on them to reestablish the boundaries, but understand that people may not like your new boundaries. But don't be upset, like as a personal trainer or coach, don't be upset if people are texting you whenever when you've never established this is my time of business, right? People usually respect that, but you have to give them the guidelines they should follow. Mm-hmm. And then most of all, honor those truly, right? Like if you say you're working from 7 to 9 and they text you at 8:50 and you don't answer till the next day, 8:50 is a bad example, but
Yeah.
8:30, like, and you don't answer the next day, like you have to honor your boundaries too by saying, if I'm working during these times, I'm going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Here. We're back to my favorite group on Reddit, or I should say
Yes.
one of my favorite groups. AITAH, otherwise known as Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for not changing my marathon plans after my friend backed out? I've been training for this big city marathon for months. It's been on my bucket list forever, and I finally felt ready to take it on. My best friend, let's call him Max, decided he would run it with me. We were both super hyped, planning our training schedules, diets, the whole 9 yards. We even signed up together, and it's been great having that mutual goal. However, Max recently injured his ankle during a training run. Nothing too serious, but enough that he won't be able to participate in the marathon. He told me this last week, and obviously I was bummed for him. I told him I was sorry and that we could find another race to do together once he's healed up. Then he asked me if I was still planning on running the marathon without him. I
Oh.
told him yes, I still intended to run. I've been training hard for this, and while I'm gutted he can't join, I didn't think it meant I should back out too. Max seemed a bit taken aback and said something along the lines of, "Oh, so you're just gonna leave me behind then?"
Oh.
I was
Okay. Oh no.
I was a bit surprised by his reaction. I thought he'd understand, but he's been kind of cold since our conversation. And now his partner is messaging me saying I should reconsider and maybe find a different race that we could do together later in the year. She thinks it's unfair that I'd still go ahead with it when Max can't. I feel torn because I put in so much effort and I was really looking forward to this. But at the same time, I don't want to make Max feel like I'm abandoning him. I offer to help him with his recovery and find a new race for us to target, but I also don't want to give up my marathon goal. So, am I the asshole for wanting to run the marathon even though my friend can no longer participate?
What?
The fire's coming from inside the house on this one.
Yeah. No. First off, they said big city marathon, which means it costs big city money, and there's big cities costs associated with it. And while maybe Max, depending on what big city, actually I don't even know what big city marathon would let you defer for an ankle injury. I don't know all the. I can't tell you off the top of my head. I know every big city marathon's deferment rules, but let's just assume Max maybe somehow can defer his entry. And like the other person can't. So you're now Max is either Max lost his entry or he's deferring it, or I'm just they, I don't really, whatever. And this other person, the OP, is now has to just throw away the race entry that costs big city money. So absolutely not. This sounds like, you know what? This also sounds like it could be a made for like one of those holiday movies. Like maybe let's assume they're like small city people, and they're going to the big city for the marathon,
It's
and
on
then
the
like
Hallmark Channel. This
yeah,
this
and then
episode's on
like
the Hallmark Channel.
and the partner doesn't know, but like the other two like will find love on the marathon course, and small city people. The OP is like, yeah, I think we can make this movie. Should we?
We
Well,
should.
let's figure. Maybe we'll try
That's
and
a
get
good
this
idea
made
for us.
for everyone. But
Yeah.
also, to answer this, no, OP, you should run the race that you have trained for, and you can. And what a nice gesture to also say, hello, sorry, Max. I will do another race with you and still honor our commitment to do it. But I'm going to run the race I am because I didn't get hurt, and I shouldn't be forced to cancel because you did. Sorry.
Yo,
And then having the partner message like, what?
No. Okay, so yes, you're not OP. You are NTAH, not the asshole. But this right here, this is what we call an ex-friend. Max is out. Max's wife is out. They are both out. You offered, you said you would. I think you may have said you would before the wife texted you, and not, but I don't know. I think this is high school. It's not a person. Why can't hey Max, if you're listening, How about you cheer on OP? That would be a nice thing to do.
Hey,
Wife, why don't you put your phone away?
like, yeah, why? Like, now you're making OP feel bad about the race they trained for that they're going to run, and they feel confident in themselves, and they did all this hard work, and they're going to feel miserable about it and be miserable the whole time because you got hurt and you can't go. Like, okay, so sorry, too
Yeah.
sad, so sad.
Is he
It's
supposed to
too
get
bad, so
injured
sad.
in solidarity? I don't understand. I
Yeah,
don't understand. Um, OP, go run your race and recognize that it's not a you problem. It's a Max's boo problem.
yeah, and we'll cheer you on. Just let us know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Give us a 5-star review and then we'll definitely cheer you on.
no, we'll cheer it out the review,
Yeah,
but
no, we would.
it's helpful
It's really
if you
great.
did it anyway. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Horrible. All right. Do we have time for one more?
We do.
Let's do it. Okay, I have to pull it up. Oh my gosh, what happened to me? What happened to me? Did I take a what's happening outside in my apartment?
It sounds like there is a fight in the parking lot.
It's not a fight. It's either singing and there's a drum line. I just can't.
Oh, like Christmas carols?
Oh, I don't think
Yeah.
so. All right. So last, but certainly not least, OP. I'm a 21F, aka 21-year-old female, slightly newer to being consistent in the gym and actually knowing what I'm doing. But my current problem is when I'm working out, I feel as though my legs could keep going or whatever muscle I'm working on hasn't been pushed to full potential. I get really bad headaches. I feel really dizzy. I have to stop. It's usually to the point of having to stop towards the end of my workout, but I sometimes have to skip the last two exercises. I'm getting my protein in. I don't take pre workout. I don't like caffeine. It makes me shaky. Any recommendations?
Hmm. Did they mention they drink water? Because
Right.
that my first guess is we could all use more water in our life.
Or
So,
carbohydrates.
well,
Have we
those
spoke
two.
about carbohydrates and how that is your body likes to fuel with carbohydrates? And I know
Yeah.
that everyone on the internet is like, you need 478 grams of protein a day. How I get 478 grams of protein a day? But have you tried?
One
Have you
carb,
tried?
1 gram of carb. Just one. Just start with one and work your way up.
Yeah, I would, right, and then add more as you need.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me. This has happened as a trainer, and now I have first started training my clients. I noticed that one, I told them that nutrition is outside my scope of practice, but I always reminded them, like, have you had depending on the time, have you had a snack? Have you had a meal before this? And I would find that the answer was no. Or it was like, yeah, I had a sweet green salad with a
Hmm.
single iceberg wedge 2 hours ago. And I was like, oh, that's weird, Megan. Maybe we should put a snack in your bag. And then moving forward, and they would have the snack, or sometimes I'd have a spare snack. And they're like, wow, it's so weird. I feel better. And I'm like, it's so weird.
That doesn't make sense.
Let's do that again.
Do you just start adding the workout to be one by snack?
Right.
2 reps of snack.
Yes, with a 5-minute recovery in between. Yeah, I do. I think that folks really underestimate the power of hydration, like basic needs: hydration, eating enough food, sleeping,
Yeah.
not being incredibly stressed heading into your workouts, like outside of workout stress, like life stress. They really
Yeah.
underestimate the power of what that will do to your body when you have all these basic needs met.
Yeah. And I hear this also with sometimes with runners where they'll do their, let's say, long run and then they'll immediately go to the gym. And, notoriously bad are a lot of runners with taking in some sort of fuel source after a long run.
Mhm.
And maybe they'll have a tiny little snack, but like nowhere near how much they need. And then they'll go lift and they'll be like exhausted or causing like like headaches or other things, or feeling weak on their lifts. And I'm like, well, did you like fuel up like enough to go do this thing after putting your body through 16, 18 miles of harm? Or did you literally drive from your long run to the gym and do nothing in between and maybe drink some water? So, I think you need to plan out your, and other things people do is they wake up first thing in the morning and they immediately get dressed, make their get ready with me reel where they don't have time. So they don't have time to eat because the reel takes 40 minutes. Actually, honestly, people make them so fast these days. They probably make them in 10 minutes. It would take me 50 minutes, but even if it's 10 minutes, like they don't have time to eat because they're getting ready. We're getting ready with them. And then they get to the gym and they're just hopping in to get work because they have work soon. So, I think people don't really, no one wants to eat at 5 a.m. because, well, it's too early. I'll eat afterwards, but
I can't.
But like then they, you go to bed at 8 p.m. and so you haven't eaten in 12 hours and you're starting your workout. Like these are things people again don't realize how much this impacts you because you are putting yourself in a huge deficit. And maybe one day you get by on it, or maybe a couple days, but there are times where it will absolutely knock you on your feet. And those are the times you're going to remember, and that's why you're going to write a Reddit thread, not about the other times where you survived. You're going to write a Reddit thread because like a couple days you feel miserable and you don't understand why 0 carbs in 12 hours and no water and high stress and all this other stuff isn't keeping you ready through your work, your workout.
OP, let's start with the basics and then we'll build from there. I think that this one is really simple, but people really hate how simple it is. And they're rather like, let me slap some cryo on it.
Yeah.
What if I get this massage?
It's always got to be something crazy.
Put a ketone, throw a ketone at it.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, it's got to be the most, it can't be oh, you just eat more. No. I probably have some disease that less than 0.01% of the people in the world have. That's more logical than it is that I should just eat some carbs.
The only thing that can fix it is AG none.
Yeah. Like maybe just always when you're trying to problem solve, start with the basics. Make sure you're getting enough of the basics. And then if that doesn't work, then maybe you have some, 1 in a million disease or something else going on. And that's the problem. But let's
just rub a carb on it. Let's rub a carb on it.
Yeah, just take a piece of bread and rub it on your body. Your body absorbs them, so it's fine. Osmosis.
I wish that I could moisturize with the tortellini. Carbs. Yeah.
Oh my god, I feel like that's a reel you're going to make where you're just going to be moisturizing tortellinis on your face.
So many of you have asked about my skincare routine.
Oh my god, I know. I hope that's a reel now.
I hope somebody make it for me. Can I hire one of these get ready with me influencers? I can't compete with the pricing that these hoes are charging.
You can't waste those high priced tortellinis either.
No, I can't. Not
in this economy. Tortellini, you can't waste a good tortellini.
I have to admit, like, everything else has gone up in price, but my box of tortellini has stayed consistent for the last several years.
I don't know how they're making them, but
which is why, like, I'll continue to gatekeep it, and I'll also store like 2 to 5 in the freezer at all times, just in case. Yeah, I mean, that's all I got today.
Yeah, we did it.
We sure did. And I just want to thank past Coach Amanda and Coach Nick for hunkering down on hour 7 of their night on Tuesday to bang out all these episodes. If you are listening still, we thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Did you know we're on YouTube? You can watch us on YouTube. We pair really well with a plate of ravioli on a Thursday night.
And a nice $2 bottle of wine.
Oh yes, that sounds lovely for all those who are drinking wine. And if you need maybe a seltzer for me,
Yeah.
I We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. Please, if you have not already done so, leave us a review. Make it 5 stars. Share us with a friend. You could buy us a coffee. That link is in each of our bios and in the show notes. What else? If you have any questions, any feedback, you can email us at betweentwocoaches@gmail.com. Friends, we will see you next time.
Bye.